Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And I have 3 meditations for you guys today. They're meditations that I have not read, but I just skimmed over, and I was like, these are really, all my meditation books today were fantastic. So it's a beautiful day outside. I'm finishing up my videos. My husband just got home, and then I'm just gonna relax for the evening. So this is usually a meeting night for my best friend and I, but she's going to a different meeting tonight with her sponsor, and so I was like, which is also my sponsor, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stay at home and I'm gonna relax and listen to an audiobook and, you know, just kind of unwind and have a good day. So anyway, I want to read these meditations to you. They're really, really good, or at least what I saw seemed really good, and there are 3 kind of diverse topics, so I want to dive into them. I just want to say thank you so much to the people out there, all of you, to all of you out there that watch this channel specifically on a regular basis, and you guys send me so many nice messages. It's strange. It's like I get so many messages specifically about this channel, and people saying thank you so much for your Peterisms channel, don't ever quit doing it, and all that kind of stuff. And you know, I don't get a lot of views on this channel, and I don't really care. I really enjoy doing this channel and doing videos on this channel, and it's not like it's super difficult for me to sit down and read a meditation book, you know, and I really enjoy doing it. And the fact that, I don't know, even though, you know, only a few people watch it, that people are impacted by it. Well, not a few, but a couple hundred people every day watch it. That people are impacted positively by it really means a lot to me. So thank you for all of the really nice, encouraging messages you guys have sent me out there. And I don't have any plans on stopping this channel anytime soon. So thank you. Okay, the first one is July 30th, and this is from the Daily Book of Positive Quotations. I know some of you guys like to read along. Small differences. We must not, in trying to think about how we can make a big difference, ignore the small daily differences we can make, which over time add up to big differences that we often cannot foresee. Marian Wright Edelman. There are so many problems in the world. How do we begin to make a dent in fixing them? It's so easy to become discouraged when we think about how much there is to do and how little there is to do with it. How little there is to do it with. But we can do something. If we can't afford to give $100 to a charity, $10 is better than nothing. If we can't volunteer our time every week, even a few hours, a year helps. And if enough of us act this way, we can change the world. Every day, I can do something to better the world, even if it's just offering a kind word to someone who needs it. So what's interesting about this is I immediately thought, and I talked about this, I think even just yesterday in a video, my Starbucks cups that I get, okay? And I know that this is really serious, like really simple and really kind of silly, but it's something that I've really taken notice to. You know, I did talk about this, I think, just yesterday. I was talking to a friend recently that had gone completely green and, you know, was doing recycling and, you know, all this kind of stuff. And so he was telling me that when he had kids, that was when his whole, like, you know, perception of recycling and living green changed, because he wanted to have a world for his children to exist in, you know? And I started thinking about that, but I don't have kids, and I'm not going to be here in 100 years, I know that, you know? So I think for those of us that are similar to me, sometimes, like, it's not the first, you know, thought that comes to your mind. But the more I thought about it, and the more I thought about how easy it is to do those things, the more, you know, strongly it settled inside of me. And I don't think it's any mystery that I love these Starbucks cups, right? Well, I started, you know, you can add up your points now on Starbucks. Before, you would just get free coffees, but now you can add up your points. And like, I know a lot of people are like, well, you could just go buy a plastic cup. You could go buy any plastic cup at Walmart or Meijer, and I think that's fantastic. You can do that too. But as a way to use your points that you're already spending money at Starbucks, and no, this is not an ad. I don't get sponsored to do this, but I really do believe in this. You can, you know, go and you can buy, you know, a cup with your, so like at the end you get 400 points. You max out, I think, at 400 points. That equals like anything up to $20 worth of merchandise. And I think this mug, I took the price tag off of it, but it was less, it was like $19.95. So I had to pay the tax on this mug, or this cup, right? Yesterday I got a new one because I didn't have my cup with me, so I bought one, and I bought it actually with my points on my well, not with my points, but I bought it with like cash on my Starbucks card so that it would go towards me buying a new one. I really had this like kind of epiphany the other night, because I thought, I'm not really affecting that kind of change. Who cares? I'm going on. My friends are tired of hearing me talk about this. And, you know, I was at the gas station. I was getting gas. And I looked at the trash cans, and they were filled with plastic water bottles. And I thought to myself, we don't have recycling bins at trash cans, and all that kind of stuff. And I've been using, recyclable cups, well, not recyclable, but reusable cups for water as well when I'm like in the car and things. And I thought, we don't have recycling bins at gas stations. All this is just going into a landfill at one point, and I thought to myself, because one of the things that had happened when I started using these cups was I thought to myself, you get coffee 7 days a week, sometimes, more than that. So seven of these plastic cups a week, of the plastic ones, times a year is what? Something like ridiculous, like 21,000 cups or something like that. I'm 2,100. I don't know the math, okay? So anyway, it's a lot of cups, all right? And, well, that would be 7 times a week times 10 months. I don't know, but anyway, it's a lot. 7,000, 10,000 cups, something like that. And then I thought about the water bottles as well as I buy. Back in the day, I was buying 1 to 2 water bottles a day. Add that to it. That, for my own, that I'm putting out there in plastic waste, that is a lot, okay? That is tons. And so to start recycling and doing those things, am I making a huge dent in the world just by doing that? No. But that was also a reason why I started being a vegetarian. And like I say in a lot of my videos, when people ask, I don't know that I'll be a vegetarian forever. I just don't know. I might just tomorrow decide to stop. But I've kept going day by day, and today it's not that huge of an issue. I don't find it hard when I go to restaurants and things like that. But I did it because I had watched this propaganda video by, I think, PETA or somebody like that, that said that if you become a vegetarian for 30 days, it's not just about not eating meat, and it's not just about all that kind of stuff, but you really start reducing your carbon, what is it, like the footprint or imprint? I don't know. I always say this and people laugh. But I think imprint on the world, right? Because of the manufacturing of that. Well, you're only one person that's doing that. But if 10 people did that, or 20 people did that just for 30 days, how much of the world you're changing? We really do have the ability, to change the world in a way that I don't think that we even imagine sometimes. Let's take it away from charity or plastic, bottles or all that kind of stuff, and let's think about just smiling at somebody. I've talked a lot about that on here and on my vlogs, that, just the ability to smile at somebody or ask somebody how they're doing today. One of the things I say at the end of my vlog every day is tell somebody, I always say, like, if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And then I say pass that on to somebody else. Let somebody else know today how much you mean to them. It's important for us to let people know that. There are people that go through entire days, entire weeks, and nobody tells them that they're important, or that they matter, or that they're loved, or that somebody cares to even see their face during a day, It's important for us to pass it on. You don't know that you might be truly, truly changing somebody's day or life, because you smile at them or you greet them with kindness when you see them. It's huge. It really, really is huge, and I can tell you that there have been moments in my life where I have just been going through total hell, and I thought, I'm not going to make it, to the other side. I'm going through it right now, and somebody greets me with such kindness and such grace. I'm like, I almost feel like I'm deserving of it in that moment. But it's really what I needed to make me realize you're going to be okay. You're going to get through this, So that's even a way that we can, and what? Smiles are free, right? Kindness is free. So, okay. Before I get into sounding like Mother Teresa a little bit, which I'm not, let's go on to the next meditation. The next meditation is about selfishness. How apropos, right? And this is from the Meditations for Living in Balance, Daily Solutions for People Who Do Too Much. And selfishness and self-centeredness are the root of our disease when you're addicts and alcoholics. And so, we are people that live before we start working on ourselves through selfishness and self-centeredness, right? So any meditation on selfishness is always a great meditation for me. July 30th, selfishness. Selfishness is not living as one wishes to live. It is asking others to live as one wishes to live. That's interesting. Ruth Rendell. Sometimes we just don't realize what we are doing. We don't consciously set out to be selfish. We just do our own thing. If we don't take care of number one, who will? We may even see ourselves as a very considerate person and yet still be living selfishly. For example, when we make decisions for people who are perfectly capable of making decisions for themselves, we are being selfish. When we fill the air with cigarette smoke or pollution, we are being selfish. When we do things for people that they don't particularly want done for them because we feel good about ourselves when we do it, we are being selfish. When we make noise, have kids, or play rock music around those who don't want this, we are being selfish. When we impose ideas, decisions, or beliefs, we are being selfish. Selfishness is much more subtle than we would like to believe and much more prevalent than we would hope. Take a good hard look at yourself. Are there ways you ask others to live as you want to live? What do you want to do about it? I think that's interesting. You know, I was, this is totally off the subject, but I just finished this audiobook, and it was, the very end of it was about the idea of like democracy and freedom, right? And it really wasn't that deep. It was a science fiction series. But anyway, but when I finished it, you know, it really got me thinking about, you know, like, so they're re-electing like a new town leader, and it has to do something with that, and him making decisions for the people because he thinks he knows what's best versus letting the people vote, right? And it's interesting how it ends. But, you know, I was thinking about that, and like, this meditation is really good for me. I think, you know, in every day that I live, there are things that I do that are selfish that I don't even think about, you know, that never even go through my mind. There are many that I do. There are many things I do that are selfish, and I continue to do them. There are many things that are selfish that I've worked on, and I don't continue to do them. I don't think any of us are perfect human beings. Sometimes we hurt other people by our selfishness, even when we're trying to help them, you know? And I think that often it's like trying to be, you cannot please everybody. Sometimes you do have to put yourself first, you know? Sometimes you do have to be selfish. You know, when I first got sober, one of the things that they taught me was, you know, that I needed to be selfish about myself. I needed to put myself and my sobriety first. There were many people in my life that did not understand that. They just really didn't, you know? Oh, you have to go to another meeting tonight, or you have to do this. Yeah, I need to do that. Like, I need my sobriety to come first. And there are things that always, like, you know, we have to consider, like, is this a moment where I need to put this first or whatever? So I think it's a good meditation, you know, to always ask yourself in situations that you're going through, how selfish are you being? You know, I don't know why my mind jumped to this, but it's like with funerals, you know. I have had funerals in my life that I've had to go to that were really about my moment. And, you know, like my mother's, that was for me. That was my moment, you know. But there have been other moments, like my aunt and uncle's passing. That moment was for me to be there for my cousin, you know, and to be by her side. And I had many people that did for me what I tried to do for her in that moment, you know, that they stood by my side. And when I had had enough, they took over. And, you know, and I did that for her. And I think that that's, you know, trying to be a less selfish person. And in that moment, being part of the solution and not part of the problem. And I think today, that's a huge part of who I try to be, is to be part of the solution and not part of the problem, you know, in any situation that I go into. But we're going to continue to be selfish on, you know, regular basis. So, yeah. So it even comes down to like when you're like, okay, this is funny, but like, you know, when you, as a couple, you have a conversation about where to go eat tonight, and you say, okay, I'll go anywhere you want to go. And then they go, okay, let's go to the Chinese buffet. And you go, oh, I don't really feel like the Chinese buffet, right? Okay, that's selfishness. So it comes out in little ways that we don't even think about, right? And I think that we have to be more aware of that. Okay, 2 meditations down. Let's get to the third meditation. And the third meditation today is from The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beatty. I may have done this last year, I don't know. But I wanted to read this one because it's about accepting powerlessness. Powerlessness is such a huge part of being in recovery. But, you know, as I have been a person in recovery for so many years now and applied it to my life and applied the steps to my life, what I've realized is that powerlessness and unmanageability are really 2 huge parts of everybody's life, whether you're an addict or an alcoholic. I did not read the meditation, but I was like, anything about accepting powerlessness, I think, is really good for all of us to hear. So, this is from July 30th. Since I've been a child, I've been in an antagonistic relationship with an important emotional part of myself, my feelings. I have consistently tried to either ignore, repress, or force my feelings away. I have tried to create unnatural feelings or force away feelings that were present. I've denied I was angry, when in fact, I was furious. I have told myself there must be something wrong with me for feeling angry, when anger was a reasonable and logical response to the situation. I have told myself things didn't hurt when they hurt very much. I have told myself stories such as, that person didn't mean to hurt me, or he or she doesn't know any better, or I need to be more understanding. The problem was that I had already been too understanding of the other person and not understanding and compassionate enough with myself. It has not just been the large feelings I have been at war with. I have been battling the whole emotional aspect of myself. I have tried to use spiritual energy, mental energy, and even physical exertion to not feel what I need to feel to be healthy and alive. I didn't succeed at my attempts to control emotions. Emotional control has been a survival behavior for me. I can thank that behavior for helping me get through many years and situations where I didn't have any better options. But I have learned a healthier behavior, accepting my feelings. We are meant to feel. Part of our dysfunction is trying to deny or change that. Part of a recovery means learning to go with the flow of what we're feeling and what our feelings are trying to tell us. We are responsible for our behaviors, but we do not have to control our feelings. We can let them happen. we can learn to embrace, enjoy, and experience, feel the emotional part of ourselves. Today, I will stop trying to force and control my emotions. Instead, I will give power and freedom to the emotional part of myself. Oh my God, that was such a great meditation. You know, I relate to that so strongly. I tried to really control my emotions for a really long period of time, you know? And I think that one of the things that's really important is that, and I say this a lot, but feelings are not facts. And what I mean by that is that feelings are not set in stone facts, okay? Your feeling today can change tomorrow. But how you're feeling today is valid, and it is important, and you have a right to your emotion, to your feeling today, okay? I think often we are so protective of other people that we're afraid to let them know how we truly feel about a situation, when really what we need to do is tell on ourselves and tell exactly how we're feeling about that situation, you know? I feel very blessed to be in a 12-step program, but, you know, for many, many years, I would go to meetings, and this was before I left and then came back, but I would go to meetings, and I would just sit there, and when people said, how are you doing today? I'd be like, oh, I'm great, right? When inside, I was dying. I literally was emotionally dying, you know? And I rode an emotional roller coaster for years and years and years. And if you've ever been on an emotional roller coaster, the ups and downs, where you're like, I don't know how I'm ever gonna not, like, I'm going crazy in my head and I don't know what to do, you can get off that emotional roller coaster any time you want. At any time, you can just say, I'm getting off right now, right? Just jump off the roller coaster. And I think it's really scary to us. And I think sometimes those up and down emotions, that chaos, that toxicity, anger, rage, all that kind of stuff becomes defense mechanisms for us, and we almost enjoy living in that misery. I know a lot of people today that live in misery, and you know, the reality of what I've learned is, and there was a time that I was happy living in misery, but what I've learned today is that they've never been exposed to peace and serenity. They've never known what it's like to live without chaos and toxicity and misery, and they would rather live in that because it's so comfortable for them to live in misery that they stay there. And that's fine, okay? But there's another alternative to that. It doesn't really make me, I don't scoff at that today. It makes me sad for those people, you know? It really makes me sad that they don't really want to even try something else, but why would we? You know, when we do something over and over long enough, it becomes comfortable for us. And I think, you know, the whole like slogan of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is insanity, and we know that, right? So why would you stay in that and expect that anything different is going to come from it? You have to, you know, induce some kind of change. You have to take a look at yourself, do inventory, want to be something different. You have to want peace and serenity. I truly, truly believe people that are angry and miserable on a daily basis know that they're angry and miserable on a daily basis. And even people, you know, out there that are like telling themselves, no, I'm not, inside, no, like I'm so angry and miserable and sad, and I just don't want to be this way anymore. I don't want to be this way anymore, but they don't know how to get out of it, right? Well, for me, what changed was, and I shared this story, was that I had heard a lead, a 12-step lead, where this woman was like, she had gone to meetings for years and years, and this was my story. You know, when you hear your story in somebody else's words, it is so powerful. It is so powerful. And I don't know if you've ever watched a movie or read a book or gone to a meeting if you're in recovery, and you literally hear somebody else tell your story, and you're like, I am not alone. Like, that is so powerful, right? But I had heard this lead right after I came back into going to meetings, and this woman said that it's important for me to note too that, like, I didn't go back out and start using again, but I didn't go to any meetings. I wasn't part of a 12-step program for 4 years. I had no emotional sobriety, and I was living in toxicity and chaos in my head. I mean, I just was, right? But, you know, so I came back in and I started going to meetings, and I heard this lead like right away. It was one that I heard online, and this woman said that she had been going to a meeting every day for a long time, and that everybody would say to her, like, are you okay? And then one day she just decided, this woman asked her, and she just decided to finally be honest, and she's like, no, I'm not okay. Like, I'm not okay at all. That hit such a chord with me, and I was like, oh my God, like, okay, I'm not okay, I need to be better. You know, that, and that, you know, I had heard somebody else say to me about, you know, that they had gone to a counselor for so long, but they had never really told the truth of what was in their heart. And that was at the same time that my husband and I started going to a counselor, and I was like, if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go. Like, I'm gonna put it all out there, I'm gonna go and get the most out of it. That was when things really started changing for me, you know, and today, when I go to meetings or when I talk to my sponsor or, you know, whatever, you know, that's a time for me to tell on myself. And what I mean by that is to tell my truth, to tell what's going on inside of me. If I am really, really struggling, I need to talk about it. There is no way around that. There is no way to hide from that. There is no way for it just to go away. Journaling, talking to my sponsor, going to meetings, counseling, all that kind of stuff really, really helps me move through it. So the next time I know what to do with that situation, and today I have a lot of tools in my toolbox on how to deal with that stuff, you know? But 5-10 years ago, I didn't know how to handle that stuff, and it came out in just crazy ways. It just really did, you know? Even in the last 2 years, it's come out in ways that I wasn't proud of. But today, I think that I'm not that same person, and I've really worked on that a lot, you know? And you can too, and you don't have to be stuck on that emotional roller coaster anymore. You just don't, you know? And I think the best way on working on that is by telling your truth and telling it to somebody, finding somebody to talk to, journaling, getting it out, and saying, you know, like, I don't want to feel this way anymore, you know? And whenever I call my sponsor on the phone, it's always funny because she always gives me solutions, but she gives me several solutions. And she's like, you can do what you want, you know? You can stay miserable if you want, or you can do A, B, and C, you know? And she always gives me things to think about, which is fantastic, but she never tells me what to do, you know? There's so much freedom in that. With being able to tell somebody what's going on with you, and them not telling you what you have to do, but in making suggestions for what's worked for them, you know? And I just, you know, I feel very, very blessed to have those tools in my life today, and to realize for so long, peace and serenity were literally right here, and all I had to do was grab it, but I wasn't willing to do that. It was literally right in front of my face, and I couldn't see it, and today I see it. It's surrounding me, and I take my peace and my serenity in my life, you know, it's extremely important to me. And even when I get off a little bit, I try to like work through that, because we all are going to have days that we don't feel great. That's just reality, and it's about working through it. It's about being honest with our emotions and sharing those things with the people that are around us. There's nothing wrong with that, and we don't have to protect people from seeing our emotional sides. We don't, you know? So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed those 3 meditations. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.